already. All right, so welcome once again. We are starting off Eretmis Cyber Chats every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm Dr. Emmanuel Adu. I'm going to be a facilitator for this session. And I'm the founder of Eretmis Academy, CEO of Eretmis Inc. I'm a QSA, a cybersecurity expert, a business expert as well. I love teaching, mentoring, and everything cybersecurity, right? So a former United States Army captain, and then also a former professor at University of Maryland Global Campus and CTC. So let's get started. Now, our Christmas big sale is still on, 35% off all our training courses that we have on our website, Eretmis Academy's website. So it's not coming soon. Actually, we have it right now on the website. And also moving forward, we are a CompTIA authorized partner. So for everybody on here, if you are looking to sit for any CompTIA exam, we have a 20% discount that we are going to, push down to you. So reach out to us.
Only pick one day and go.
So reach out to us and we will take care of you, give you the 20%. And then also for what we are doing tonight, for all cyber chats, you can use your attendance as a form of continuous education, continuous education points to help with your certification, with your recertification of any certification that you've taken. For all cybersecurity certifications, you have to renew every 3 years, with the exception of QSA, PCI's QSA, and I think that is the only one that I'm tracking. You have to, do every year. Even for PCIP is every 3 years, right? All other certifications every 3 years. You can either sit for the exam, right? Retake the exam, or you can submit continuous education points. And if you meet the requirements, they are going to recertify you, so you don't have to resit for the exam. Now we have a WhatsApp group, Eretmis WhatsApp group. So if you are interested, we will post the link and you'll be able to join the group as well. So everything that we are doing in the Eretmis community, we post it on there. So you will be in the know. And then also our YouTube channel, we are transmitting cyber chats directly on our YouTube channel, live on our YouTube channel. So you can also get all the content that we go through. I think now we have almost 200 videos on there. So that's how much cyber chats we've done so far. All of it is on there, different topics that are being broken down that will help you as a security professional, right? So please do go ahead, subscribe, and share with family and friends who will be interested in cybersecurity, right? So now tonight's session, we are going to be looking at cyber news as usual. We'll be looking at the new cybersecurity business owner training or program that is starting in January 18th. And then we have a new PCI DSS. So that we're also going to discuss more into a new PCI DSS internship and workshop, right? Is just the internship and workshop for PCI DSS, right? That information about that will also be pushed out later, sometime maybe next week after Christmas. And then also for our normal cybersecurity workshop and internship, we are also starting our new cohort on the 13th of January 2024. And for our PCI class, our live session, we are starting the new class, new cohort on the 16th of January 2024, right? Not 23. I don't know why they put 23 here. 23 is past. And we will be looking at the new program, obviously outlining what the program entails. So we are jumping into cyber news. So for this week, we have some interesting cyber news. So first is about cryptocurrency. So 2 men have been charged for running a Ponzi scheme for about 25 million crypto Ponzi scheme. Now, before we move on, anybody knows what a Ponzi scheme is? You can raise your virtual hand and we will let you have the floor. What is a Ponzi scheme? Maybe for some folks who are not familiar with what a Ponzi scheme is. Uchi, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Dr. A Ponzi scheme essentially is a scheme where an individual makes a high promise of a reward. They take your money, they say that they're investing it, but they're not. They're just keeping it for themselves. And at times, what they'll also do to keep the initial people, thinking that they're getting investment, they'll take the next people's money, invest it, and then give those initial people money. So then they keep on doing it and doing it until they run out of the money and run away, and then you've lost your money.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So that is exactly what the Ponzi scheme is. So some malicious people will come up with some, scheme or something, some story about how they'll be able to invest your money and give you high returns. And then what they do is they're just going to take your money and they wouldn't use it for any investments. So that is what these two men did. They took people's money for crypto investments, and they ended up just spending the money for themselves. And this was in the tunes of 25 million. So how they were able to pull this off was that, how AI is really the buzzword for this year in, the IT sphere. Now, AI combined and also crypto was huge 2021, 2022, right? So what they did was that they apparently convinced people that how they were going to do the investment, they were going to have AI invest their crypto for them, right? So AI will be able to, go through and come up with the best crypto investment out there. And that is how they were able to, get this high return. So there were promising returns of 300% in 3 weeks. Don't know which planet they are living on, but some people, actually fell for that. So, and those people don't, we shouldn't just judge and say, oh, maybe they are just greedy or they are just like they just don't know. Maybe probably they are convinced by what they were telling them. So, I mean, and based on trust, maybe, if you trust somebody, that is not necessarily wrong. But if somebody is telling you 300% in 3 weeks, I think that should raise some red flags. So this was in the news for this week. We are going to move on into one big news that we all should look out for, right? So I'm pretty sure everybody on here uses Google Chrome in some shape or form, even if not at home, at work, right? Or somewhere home or at work, you are using Google Chrome in one shape or form, right? Now, guess what? So Google Chrome has run into some issues this year. And the last one, hopefully this is the last one they will encounter this year, right? So there have been 8 zero-day vulnerabilities found in Google Chrome this year, right? The last one was found, I think, on Wednesday, and this is the CVE for this vulnerability, right? Now the question is, what is a zero-day vulnerability?
Dr. Adu, 0 day.
Yeah, please raise your virtual hand. Okay, Suzanne, please go ahead. Susanna, go ahead. You are still muted. Okay, Sydney, go ahead. Susanna is still muted.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Adu. 0 day is a vulnerability that doesn't have a patches. I'm sorry about my voice. I'm not feeling well.
Oh, sorry.
That doesn't have a patch yet. So there's no control in place for it. And
Okay.
That's what 0 day is.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sydney. So for what can we do about 0-day vulnerability?
It can be, we can
No,
use
not you, Sydney. Let somebody else. So if Susanna, if you can unmute yourself still, or if not, then we are going to move to Prince. Prince, go ahead. Unmute yourself again, Prince. I think I had to.
Yeah, your question is, what can we do about
zero-day vulnerabilities?
Okay.
Yes.
Well, if a patch hasn't been discovered, what we can do is we can implement compensating controls.
Okay, and what do you mean by compensating controls?
Compensating control is if you can't implement the right control that is required, you can use another control that would actually mitigate the issue or solve the issue before you implement the right controls. So it's like a substitute control that you put in place if you're not able to implement the required control.
So my follow-up question, in this case, are we not able to implement the actual control that we need to implement a different control to be a compensating control?
Well, that's what I said. So if there's no patch available, then you would have to, if there's a required control, then you have to do that required control if you are able to implement that. But if you're not able to implement that, then that's when you use the compensating control.
Okay, so I was following up with that because I wanted to make a correction over there, right? So the point you are trying to make is well made, but I think the choice of words, compensating control, means something else, right? It is also a control, but compensating control, like you said, is when there is a control already in place and we cannot meet that control, then we will go for a compensating control. In this case, there is no control. We don't have any, right? So the keyword you are looking for there is not compensating control. As we just have to put in place like some control measures to ensure that we don't fall victim to attackers who are trying to take advantage of the 0 day, right? So the point is well made. We are all talking about the same thing, but compensating control itself is mostly used in PCI, and it's for when you are not able to meet the requirements or like the control that is in place, you cannot meet it from the get-go. Then you find a way of still meeting the intent of the control without necessarily going the way that they want you to go to meet it. So hopefully that is good.
So
all right,
Doc, is it more like an alternate control?
Yeah, so
the
compensating control.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, you can call it that. An alternate control to the original control. So let's say you are supposed to have 2 doors, right? But for some reason your building cannot support those 2 doors. So we know if we are just having those 2 doors is the only way to pass, then you are going to fail because it's not practical. You have like a business reason for not, or it is almost impossible for you to have the 2 doors. So what you do is, what is the intent of having the 2 doors? If the intent is to have more exits, then you can have something else that is going to help you still meet the intent of having more exits without having the 2 doors. But if nothing is, in your way, preventing you from having the 2 doors, then if you don't have the 2 doors, then you just failed. But in this case, there is no measure whether we should have 2 doors or not. Right. So we just have to come up with something totally, based on our own judgment. So we cannot, what Prince was trying to say is right, but we cannot call it compensating control. Hopefully that helps, and we are all learning something from this. All right. So I think there were some other hands that were raised, but Prince answered it all. So we are going to move forward. Now okay, let me just maybe give 2 more people the chance to speak about. I'm more concerned, and I think it's a good discussion topic for us when it comes to 0 day, because for 0 day, really, there is no, like Sydney said, there is no patches that have been made, that is why it is called 0 day. So any vulnerability found that has no solution, for now, it is going to, and how long is it going to remain this 0 day? I'll go with Awini. How long is, if we find a vulnerability now or today, how long is it going to remain a 0 day? Awini, go ahead.
It depends on when we are able to get a patch for it or a control in place to prevent hackers exploiting the vulnerability.
Okay.
Because we need to secure the system. So as long as it is discovered, researchers will be researching to make sure that that is rectified. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, you are correct. So it will remain 0 day. And reason why it is 0 day is that we don't have a solution to it. or the owners of the software don't have a solution to it, right? So the moment there is a solution to it, it ceases to be a 0-day vulnerability. Right now, it becomes just a normal vulnerability. Right. So if it's going to take us a year to come up with patches, then it's going to remain a 0-day for a year. And I mean, obviously, it's not going to take that long for owners to come up with these patches. So, and I think for Google, they are doing a really good job. They came up with, I think when it was discovered, the next day or the next 2 days is when they came up with a patch. Right. So I think they were probably even working on it. They probably discovered it themselves before it became public knowledge. So they were seriously working on it. Now I'm going to go to, let me see. Okay, a couple of the hands are raised still on here. Next in line is going to be Abayomi. What, in your opinion, what do you think we can do about 0-day vulnerabilities?
There are a couple of things. One, if there is no patch, the organization can decide to maybe quarantine certain systems or put certain services offline. That's one way. Another way is to, with the advent of new, new improved endpoint detection systems. So we can have a way whereby your services and whatever it is, your network can be quarantined basically. So that's one. Another thing that we can do in regards to 0-day is to, for example, if I find a 0-day vulnerability, is to apply for bug programs, right? Is to apply for those and to see how you can benefit from them or to report them. So that's another way you can contribute to addressing 0-day vulnerabilities. Okay.
Yeah. Really great points made, Abayomi. Great. Thank you. Oluwafemi, please go ahead. What are you going to, in your opinion, what do you think are some of the things we can do to, help us stay on the right side of attackers when it comes to 0-day?
I don't know if I'm the right person you called, but
Oluwafemi.
Yes.
Am I saying that right?
Yes, but I thought I put that there. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Doctor. So I think as far as 0-day is concerned, I think the first thing should be awareness, because information is very powerful. When you create an awareness, you created a kind of a guide in the heart of people that makes everybody to be conscious and to start thinking about steps that they need to take to guide themselves against such. There may not be any patch since there's no any patch already, but everyone can be conscious. I think awareness will create that consciousness, and so that people don't. Will be on the lookout for it. I'm just a thought in my head.
Okay, great, thank you. And okay, so for everybody on here, I think we've given enough points for this. I'll ask one last question and then we'll move forward, right? So we've seen this, the CVE 2023-7024. What does this mean? Okay, so I'm not sure if there are a couple of hands raised. I'm going to lower all of those, and then if you want to answer this one, you can go ahead and answer this one. Okay. I'm not sure if I can lower everybody's hand at the same. Okay, lower our hands. Great. All right. What does CVE 2023 mean? Felix, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a standardized way of identifying and tracking vulnerabilities.
Okay.
So the numbers.
Please go ahead.
So the numbers are like unique identifiers.
Okay. So what do you mean by unique identifiers?
Okay, so so every vulnerability you cannot have the same vulnerability having the same number. They're going to have different numbers as they come up.
Okay.
So example, the CV 2023, maybe that's the year, 7024. If there is a new vulnerability, it's going to be maybe 7025 and so on.
Okay. So, and what does CVE itself mean? Not you, Felix. Somebody else can answer this. Malachi, go ahead.
Common vulnerability and exposure.
Okay. And what does that mean?
That is the entity that provides the information about the vulnerabilities. It's a database that's accessible to the public that provides all the information that tracks all the vulnerabilities that have been identified.
Okay, thank you. And I think Felix elaborated more on the numbers. Do you have like any take on the numbers also as well?
Yes, he was correct about the first 2023 is the year, and 724 is the number, the vulnerability number that's identified within, I believe, that year.
Okay. Great. Great point. I think that point has been well made. So everybody else, we will move on. Now, for all vulnerabilities, all of it, all known, keyword is known. All known vulnerabilities, right? They all have a number, a vulnerability number. Like Felix was saying, there is no vulnerability, the two vulnerabilities cannot have the same number. So look at the numbers as social security for vulnerabilities, right? So the CVE 2023 7020 right, is a unique identifier for this particular vulnerability. So if you go to the National Vulnerability Database, NVD, that is being run by NIST, for every vulnerability, every known vulnerability in the world, you are going to have it in there, right? And this is how they track it, right? So they assign, as soon as a vulnerability comes up or is discovered, they will come up with a number. So they have like the series on there. So the 23, obviously, like when you see the vulnerability, the first, like the year is the first thing that you're going to see, and then the actual number, so of the vulnerability is what you're going to see. So I'm assuming, right? I don't know for a fact how they come up with these numbers, but I'm assuming they start from, maybe for 2021, they are going to start from maybe for 2024, they will start from 2024 0001, and then as they are getting more vulnerabilities, the number will be increased. So this is like around 7,024. That is what, I mean, logic and common sense, tells me. So maybe probably if they have a different way of coming up with this, then I might be wrong. But I know for a fact this is the year. So that way we know that vulnerability was discovered in this year. So if you're not familiar with this, you can look more into it. The National Vulnerability Database is a really good place to go to learn more about vulnerabilities, and not just the vulnerabilities, but systems that the vulnerabilities affect, and then how you'll be able to also mitigate or remediate those vulnerabilities. So it's a good place for you to learn more and come up with solutions for vulnerabilities your company might be facing. And it's good for folks who are doing pen testing. Is a place for you to learn more, and you'll be able to use that to exploit systems. And for folks who are defending, it is a place for you to learn to be able to use that to put measures in place to prevent, attackers from being able to get onto your system. So this is the 8th 0-day that was discovered this year in Google Chrome, but they've been doing a good job. They've been patching it, so it's good. Now let's move on to our special Christmas sponsorship giveaways. We are going to do some giveaways, at least maybe 20K and a little bit more, right? It's Christmas, so we have to, give some Christmas presents to everybody. Now we are going to jump into the actual launching of this program, the Cybersecurity Business Owner Training, right? It is starting on the 18th of January 2024, and more details on the time and the day was going to be on Thursdays, and the time and all that is going to follow as well. Right? So this is the cool flyer that our team made, and this is the details for it. It is going to be from 7 p.m. Eastern to 8:30 p.m. Eastern. The cost is 6,000, but we're running early bird promotion for 50%. So that brings it down to 3,000, and at least some 3 people are going to win that, going to win entry into this program. So they are going to win 3,000 apiece, and then others will win, other courses also as well. So why this program in the first place? Like, what is the story behind this? So the cybersecurity business owner training, one, our community, most folks have been requesting for it, and they've been folks who've been calling on the side, asking for guidance on how to run companies and how do we start this and why don't we come up with a program like this to help guide all of us through this, right? So it was based on requests, a lot of requests from our community. That is why we came up with this training. And then also, there is nothing like it out there, right? A lot of folks, they have some entrepreneurial spirit, they love cybersecurity, they want to combine both, but really to put the dots together, that is the big, mystery, how to be able to put everything together. Last week, Cyber Chat, I think we had one participant who was talking about he has a company already ready to go. He can do pen testing and the rest. But then where do you find your first gig? Then how do you go about it? How do you even charge? How much, do you charge? That is not going to be too much or too less, right? All those, nobody's going to teach you. Nobody's going to tell you in the industry. But we are going to, give you the roadmap to how to be able to go about all that in terms of pricing and everything, how to be able to be competitive on the marketplace, right? So lack of such guidance is also what kind of forced us or pushed us to really come up with this, right? And then combination of your cybersecurity passion and entrepreneurship is also one of the reasons why we came up with this. Dr. Adu, the brain behind this, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I love cybersecurity. I'm also an entrepreneur. So combining both, and then also you are helping to really create a big impact on the world because you're helping defend the cyberspace, right? And demand for cybersecurity services is high, right? Demand for cybersecurity professionals is high. Demand for services that are being provided by companies is also high. And then also professional development to develop yourself, to step out of your comfort zone, right? Everything that you'll be learning from here does not only apply to cybersecurity, but it applies to business in general, right? So to develop yourself professionally and personally, and also to change. So maybe something that we didn't put on here, to be able to also change, like your financial standing as well. Because if you run a cybersecurity company, obviously you are serving, but it's also a lucrative industry or a lucrative space. So you're also going to get paid, handsomely, right? Beautifully. So, and about, I'll be the one instructing this together with help from 2 other business partners. Now, Dr. Adu is spearheading this. What do I know? Or, why should you even learn from me, right? So we'll get to that. But about the program itself, it's going to be a comprehensive training that really takes you from 0 to 100. 100 being that after the 12 weeks of the training, you have a full-blown a fully ready to go cybersecurity company, right? Probably with your first client before we even finish the program, right? So, and everything that goes into it, the management of it, how to scale and all that we are going to go through. So you are not just going to be learning, or getting some knowledge, but there is an application twist to this. And we are going to look at that when we look at the curriculum here shortly, right? So this program, like I said, the brain behind it, Dr. Adu, I built a 7-figure cybersecurity company, gradually moving into 8-figure cybersecurity company, right? So maybe I know what I'm talking about, which I do, right? So I'm not going to teach you something that I don't know. That is what we do with all our other training. right? I cannot teach you something that I don't know. I cannot, even like my own conscience is not going to allow me to do that. Pretend to know something, to teach people something that I don't know or that I've not done, right? So we are not going to wait till Eretmis is $1 billion company before we can come back and give to the community or to show, everybody else in the community the ropes and how to go about it, right? Now, the second question will be, but Dr. Adu, but there's going to be too many cybersecurity companies around and not many, gigs for us to do. That is totally wrong. In New York, anybody's been to New York before or lately or lives in New York? You see all these yellow cabs in New York.
Yeah.
If you buy one and you add it to the whole fleet that they have today, you think you're not going to still make money? But there's a lot of yellow cabs. Yeah, there's a lot of people too, right? And the yellow cabs that are there right now, they cannot serve everybody, right? So some yellow cab drivers, even if there's too many, there's not going to be any customers. Somebody might be sick, somebody might decide not to go to work, it will rain, somebody will decide, okay, it's raining. My point that I'm trying to make is there is enough room for everybody, right? There are too many, like the demand is too much for even the companies that are there to keep up. So what happens is, and I'm telling you from the industry, when some of these companies, they are so big, it's just like the banks, they get so big. If you go there as an individual and you're looking for a loan for maybe 200,000, they are looking at you like you are growing trees on your forehead. They don't even take you seriously because they are that big. Even if you have $300,000 in your checking account and you are going there for a loan for 100,000, they really don't care about you whether you get it or not, right? Because they are too big. But if you go to a smaller bank, they treat you, like you should be treated. The point that I'm trying to make is, the services, the huge the big billion dollar companies that are out there, there are some contracts that they don't care about. I mean, it's not like they don't like money, but they think their time and effort and return on investment is really not worth their time because they have a high overhead, like a bigger overhead, right? There are a lot of people on staff, so they don't really, go after those. Now, on the flip side, also, as a small company or small cybersecurity business, you also have an advantage whereby there are some contracts that are set aside for you. And these big companies, they cannot, partake in that pie. So, but sometimes they'll tag along with you. So you are going to ride on their experience and their know-how to get that contract, and then both of you will share, right? Because like some of those contracts, they are not small contracts; they are in the millions, right? So, a little, a little bit about myself and why this program and all that. So everybody knows me. I love cybersecurity. I'm a businessman. I'm passionate about helping others. That is, the most important about all this. Really passionate about genuinely helping and making sure you are successful, right? So if you are looking to really do this seriously, I think this is the only place that you are going to get that passion and that drive to help you to really succeed. Not just take your money and say, okay, these are the list of things you have to do, alios. It's not going to happen, right? We are in it for the long haul, and we also believe in partnership. So, if I frankly believe if you want to learn this from anybody, then if you go outside Eretmis, then you are going to the wrong place. And I don't even think there is anybody out there who is going to do this or who is teaching this, right? So what are some of the key components of this cybersecurity business owner training? So starting from scratch, you don't have to know any business. You don't have to be a cybersecurity expert, right? We will start everything from scratch. Now, this is a business that you are running. So, like I said last week, you don't have to be a good cook to be able to set up a restaurant, to have it run and be profitable. You can be a good cook, set up a restaurant, and it's going to fail because it's not just being a cook that is going to make the restaurant run. It's knowing the business aspect of running a restaurant that is going to make it run. But if you're a good cook and you know how to run a restaurant, that is even better. right? So hopefully everybody gets that piece. So even if you are starting off, you don't know how to cook, but you know the business aspect, it is good for you to also learn a little bit about food. That way you can also put your own spin on some of the things they are doing, and try and sit in conversations where you can direct your cooks into maybe things or other maybe maybe other recipes that you want them to try, and so you can speak intelligently about some of these things, right? But you don't necessarily have to be a good cook, right? I'm pretty sure everybody on here can make a better burger than Burger King, right? Your burger might be tastier or might be nicer, might be more healthier, but nobody on here can run a burger business better than Burger King, right? So sometimes it's not even in how best your burger is, it's in how best you can run the burger business. So that is what we are going to teach you here. You don't have to be the best cybersecurity professional ever or be the most knowledgeable cybersecurity person, but all you have to do is to be the most knowledgeable cybersecurity business person, and you'll be able to pull it off, right? So we are starting from scratch. So guidance on how to build your business from scratch, register your business, all that, business fundamentals. So taxes, internal revenue, EIN number that you need, and all that. We are going to run through all that as well. Now, government registrations. So like dance number, registering with SAM.gov to help you prep to be able to bid for government and federal and state contracts. Funding, right? How do you get funding for your business? Starting off with zero, no business record, nothing. How do you get funding? We are going to walk through all that also as well, right? I know there are some hands raised. We are going to allow you to speak here shortly. Let's run through all the key components of this training. Now, business certifications. So as you are starting off as a small business, there are a lot of small business certifications that you can get. That is going to help you to make you competitive on the government side, also on business to business side, on the corporate side as well, at the state side as well. Because there are a lot of set aside contracts that only small business that meet that criteria or that have that certification can apply to, right? And that was what I was speaking about earlier. So they have small service disabled small business certifications, veteran-owned business certifications, women-owned business certifications, and other categories in that space, right? So all that we are going to run through, and you'll be able to make sense out of which one is which and which one do you qualify for, and how to really come up with a strategy for this, right? And then also not just a strategy, but to register for it for your business to actually get those certifications moving forward, right? And then contract acquisition, how to write proposals, how to bid, how to read and interpret requests for proposals, and the rest, right? How to go about the whole legal business aspect in terms of contracts as well, and market positioning and growth. We are also going to look at how to identify some niches within the cybersecurity space that you can easily leverage, your company to be able to start working as soon as possible without a huge cost, right? So obviously you're not going to start off developing software that you're going to sell, a tool. Now, if you are a very good programmer and you have your own tool already set up, we can still guide you through that. But if you're not a software developer and you have to outsource that, then that is going to cost you more money. That is not the route we are going. So we are going to guide you through all that, right? And so business certifications, contract acquisition, now business strategy and niche identification. So which area are you going to specialize in? We are going to look at that also as well. Now, by the end of the training, you are not only just going to gain some knowledge. It's not theoretical. What we are doing here is not theoretical. We are actually doing it, right? So it's practical things that you are going to do. So first module, we go through registration of your company and all that. If you don't have a company set up already, we're going to go through the different types of company setups, LLC, S Corp, C Corp, and the rest, proprietorship. We're going to go through all that pros and cons, and then guide you to choose one that best suits you based on your state, right? So reason, let me just give you a little background. Reason why I'm saying based on your states, most states is very easy to do LLC, right? But in New York City, not in New York State, in New York City, if you set up an LLC, you have to publish it in 2 major newspapers in New York City, I think 2 times before your LLC will be, full blown, ready to go. And that also costs money. So a way around that is you can set up a C Corp and then apply to IRS to turn it around and make it an S Corp. You don't have to do any publication, and all that is free, right? So that is what I'm saying. There are some tips and tricks to the trade. So places where, or areas you don't have to spend money, and what makes sense in one state is not going to make sense in another state. But overall, we are going to guide you through, right? So we are going to be doing this when we go through a module and we are done. If you don't have a company, you're going to register a company. It's a must. You register a company. Everything that we have to do in that module, you're going to do before we move on to another one. So we are not just going to tell you this is it. Maybe sometime when you are, like you want to do it, you can go and do it. So you are not only going to just gain theoretical knowledge, but your practical skills and tools that you'll be able to use to actually run your company. So before we move on, Frank, no, Elikum, you can ask your question, and then Jason and Frank. Go ahead, Elikum.
I'm sorry, I think I had raised the hand earlier and forgot to put it down.
Okay. So anybody else with their hands up who really wanted to ask a question, or if this is from previously?
Yes, sir. This is Ifoma. Please, I would like to find out, because I'm here because I want to get into the cybersecurity industry, and I want to get a job as a cybersecurity analyst. So I'm wondering if are you suggesting we boycott that and go into this entrepreneurial journey, or would you recommend somebody like me? I'm thinking that maybe I should just get a job first for like 2-3 years before thinking of. Is it possible to combine the job and this? So I'm just wondering where this comes in for somebody like me. So
okay, so great. Still going back to the restaurant. I don't know why I'm using the restaurant example, right? So you want to be a cook, and then also we are talking about how to set up a restaurant, right? So those are 2 things, but they are really not, far apart. So if you are starting off, you want to be a cook, you have to go to the school, learn everything, and pass out and become a full-blown, professional. Yes, you can do that. Also, you can learn and pretty much put all the structures in place for your restaurant business. So now, now it is even better. You are on the job. You have a job as a cook. You're on the job. You are cooking and doing everything you're supposed to be doing. But unlike other cooks, or unlike your colleague cooks, you are also paying attention to the business aspect of how they are running things there, because you have that ambition and you have the structures already set up. So during your conversations with managers and stuff, you are picking their brain on, okay, so how do we do this? So if somebody goes to a table and they take the order and these people move to a different table, how do you know they are the same? You are learning all that. What software are you using, right? Other cooks will not be asking those questions because they don't have any interest of setting up their own in the future, right? But you, because with the knowledge and skill you have and the ambition you have, you are working there as a cook, all right. Now it's even better because you are learning on the job, identifying some of the things they are doing and some of the ways they are doing it. And you are picking all those and adding it to your toolbox for yourself in the future, right? So if you want to be a cybersecurity professional, we are not saying boycott that and just jump into setting up a cybersecurity company. But this is something that you can have in your toolbox for the future.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Yes. Because if you have all the structures in place already, then if you are working for somebody, you are just learning the trade, not just doing your job there, but you're also learning the trade as well. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Doc,
Yes,
hi,
go ahead.
Dr. Adu. I raised my hand up earlier on.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, Dr. Adu, my question is, if okay, so I have I've already registered an LLC, but it was not cybersecurity specific, so I already have an EANI number.
Okay.
Into a license.
Okay. So, what is your question, Frank?
Yeah. So if you my question is, if you already have a registered LLC, but it was not cybersecurity specific or a cybersecurity company, can you just change it or transition it into a cybersecurity company?
Okay. So I totally get what you're saying. So with companies, right, when you register an LLC, you register like whatever entity that your company is. You are not really bound to whatever maybe your initial registration like you put on there, right? But what do you think McDonald's, like what do you think they do? Like what is the business of McDonald's?
I know they do real estate.
Good. But they also do what?
Sell burger, food by restaurant.
So they started with, okay, we are selling food, but then their real business is real estate. And not just real estate. You know, they sell more toys than this company, like the toy company, Toy for Us or Toy R Us, whatever their name is.
Toys R Us.
Toys R
Yeah.
Us.
McDonald's sells more toys than them. Is it a toy company? You tell me, right? So you can do anything, frankly, within your company. You can do anything. You are not really restricted to, if you registered and your main, they will ask you what are some of the things that you're going to be doing with this company. Maybe I'm going to be doing some cleaning jobs. I'm going to be doing some construction. That doesn't mean that is the only thing that your company can do. Right? You can go beyond that. So there is not going to be any issues. Any other questions?
Wouldn't the name of
Yes,
the
Doc.
company be an issue if, say, for instance, I actually do have a company as well, but it is specifically in a very different field. So wouldn't it be better to change that name? Because it won't sound right using that same name for cybersecurity. So what do you say to that?
Okay, so even if I got you right, you said your name of your company kind of gives away what you do.
It does, clearly.
Okay, so if you want to move into cybersecurity, then I mean, this is all part of all the things that we are going to go through. So selecting a name for your company, right? Look at all the big companies. You cannot tell what they do by their name. Nike, what does Nike do? It doesn't mean anything. McDonald's is somebody's name. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean they are into real estate or they do. But if you say maybe Divine's bakery, then obviously if you want to do cybersecurity also as well, you kind of box yourself into bakery.
Yeah.
Right? But if your company is Divine LLC, I mean, Divine LLC can do anything, right? So if you have a company that is registered as maybe Divine Bakery, what you can do is you can register yourself. You can they have something that they call doing business as, right? So it can be Divine Bakery, but you can be doing business as Divine Cybersecurity. So you don't necessarily have
so
to.
you mean they can have a different DBA name and not Divine Bakery?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that doing business as, you are allowed to, you can use any name, right? So you can be Nike doing business as Amazon. Okay. And that is allowed. So even like when you fill out most, company applications for things, they will ask you your DBA, doing business as. Your original name of the company is, you put it on there, and then they have doing business as name, right? So doing business as whatever name that, if you have a doing business as name, then you put it on there, right? So you can go back to your registry and add your doing business as name to it, right? But when it comes to, this is all some of the things we are going to look at. So that way you can set up a company once and you don't have to be, if you don't want to set up a different company, don't have to be setting up different companies. So you don't box yourself in with the name of what you are doing, right? Inside the name of the company. So hopefully that helps. Any more questions?
Okay, Dr. Adu.
Yes, go ahead.
I have 2 questions.
With regards to this one, there is that thing called the NIAC number or something that you have to put in when you're doing an LLC. So I was just wondering how that, because like, for instance, I'm in fashion, for instance, and my LLC was taken under that number, that N something something number. So how would that work?
So wait, and what number? Are you talking about,
It's
like in the government space?
Yeah.
No, it's
Or
not
NIC.
the EIN number. It's
The-
NIC or something like
I
that.
think it's NAIC number.
NICS code.
Yes.
Next.
Yes.
NICS code.
Yeah, so so that
Yeah.
is what was getting me confused. So with the NICS code, you choose the NICS code. You are at liberty to change your NICS code anytime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I already have one, and my LLC is in, for instance, fashion. So I was just wondering, and how can I use that for cybersecurity when it was specifically created for fashion?
No, so when you are creating your LLC, there is nothing like NICS code in there. NICS codes, they come in when you want to go into the government space.
Oh,
right.
I don't know
So
why
the NICS,
when I was creating
Mhm.
the LLC, it requested that I had to fill in that number before I could go forward.
No, but like NICS codes, they always change, and you can have as many as you want.
Okay.
Because your company can do as many things as you want. Right.
So just hold on until the course.
Yeah, so you can,
Then I'll see how
I
to
mean,
change
we
it.
can go in back and change it or just add it, add to it. Because mostly for
Okay.
most of the applications that you are going to fill, it is only going to allow you to put so many NICS codes. That doesn't mean if you have 15 and you put 3, that is like the 3 is all that you can do. You can do more than that. But then, we also walk you through how to pick like your best, and some are more general. Especially like when it comes to like the IT space, there are some NICS codes that will cut across almost everything.
Thank you.
So you choose those instead of the ones that are too specific, right?
Thank
Because that
you.
way you are
Yes,
also
sir.
very open to different contracts. You can.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Doctor.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, my question is very simple one. So I had an opportunity attending some interviews where they asked me for security assets. So right now I have an IT consulting firm. So, but in the process of listening to you, then it struck my mind. Is it possible that I use my company to apply for that security access?
Clearance? Are you talking about security
Yeah,
clearance?
sorry, clearance. Yes, sir.
Okay. So for security clearance, that will be done by the government, right? You cannot do it as a company, just as a company. It is based on need basis, right? So if your company is working for the government or you have a contract and you need clearance to be able to execute, that is when you can apply for clearance, and they are going to give you clearance, and everybody else who works under the company clearance, right? But just, without, so let me give you an example. On the people side, not just even company. If you are in the military, right, and you are not an officer, you are not a commissioned officer, and you are just enlisted, if your job does not require you to have security clearance, they are not going to give you full-blown. They will start your clearance. It will be an interim clearance, but it's not going to be a full-blown clearance. Now, you cannot just go and say, hey, I need clearance, so please go ahead and do my clearance, because when I get out, I want to use that to work. It doesn't work that way, right? I mean, there are ways around it in the military. You can go to them and say, hey, I'm applying to go to officer school, so do clearance for me, because I cannot apply if I don't have clearance. And like that is a way around it, but don't tell them I told you. Either than that, you are not going to collect clearance just because you are in the army or you are in the Navy. The clearance is mostly based on need. I wouldn't say need to know, but it's need basis, right? So your company, if probably you do get a contract that requires clearance, then they are going to give you that clearance. Or if you tag along with another company that has clearance and you are working together, then they can also push you and get clearance.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yes, hopefully that helps.
Doctor, I have two questions.
Go ahead, Divine.
So the first one is earlier you mentioned about business certifications, especially for the small ones. So my question one is, how do you, as a beginner, or what strategy is there to compete against the others who have business certifications, like those in the veteran community and the women community? For what strategy is there that if you are not in that community, you can compete against them as a beginner? And my follow-up question is in respect to the cybersecurity space, with respect to the scope of operation. For cybersecurity companies, especially for beginners, is there any limitations, or are there any statutes that limit their geographical scope of operation, like statewide, nationwide, international, particularly for cybersecurity? Are there any statutes or any provisions that pose any barriers for how far you can operate?
Yeah, so there's really no limits. You are not restricted by anything, by state or by anything, right? Now, we have state laws and regulations that govern companies. Aside that, you are not really restricted by anything. You can do work in different states, but then, they have like tax obligations and that. So you have to go into all those fine prints, but you are not really restricted. You can do work anywhere if you are following everything in terms of taxes and all other regulatory aspects. All right, and then also from the first one, you're talking about like the certifications. So like the minority owned, women owned, veteran owned, and the rest. If you have them, is good. Reason being that for women owned, they get 5% of all government contracting money for the year. Veteran owned, I think that is also 5%. Minority owned, I think, is 3% of the total. So if the government is spending all the contract money for the year is maybe 1 trillion, then 5% goes to women owned. 5% goes to. So what you can do is you can partner with, if you're not a veteran, you can partner with a veteran, right? If a veteran becomes, I think you have to be like 50% plus one owner of the company or thereabout, or yeah, I think, don't quote me on that, maybe probably even 40%, the whole company qualifies to be a veteran owned. You can partner with your wife or your significant other. She's a woman. If she has 50%, it becomes a woman owned, right? And if it's just you don't have any other, minority certifications that you can go for, that is fine. Now, there are other certifications aside the minority space. They have like the areas that you live within, like they have a hub zone and all those other ones that we will discuss also as well, right? Now, regardless, let's say you don't qualify for any of those, you can still get contracts. You can still partner with other companies, still win, right? So if you have it, it's fine. If you don't have it, it doesn't mean, like that is the end of the world for your company. There are other options and other ways to go around it and to be creative and innovative about it. So hopefully that helps. Divine from Boston.
Yes, sir, that helps a lot in Boston.
Yeah.
Okay.
A question here.
Hello, doctor.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Olan, okay. I will let Olan go first.
Okay, sir. Thank you, doctor. I just want to know, must I be a U.S. citizen to practice this business in U.S.?
So
a green card holder, must I be one out of these?
Okay. So for setting up business, based on the states, right? Like the requirements, they are business owners who are not U.S. citizens or even green card holders, right? But then if you are setting up in the US, then you are going to need somebody in there who can, do stuff for you. So maybe, for example, if I'm living in Bahamas, and I want to set up a business in the US, I can set it up, but then who is my point of contact there? Whose name am I going to put on the IRS form and all that? And when you are bidding for contracts, who is going to be the person, who is taking his head out, that they can hold accountable in case anything happens, right? So we can discuss that more depending on which state and ways around it and all that, right? And they even have like immigration. So for immigration purposes, like immigration even has an investment, like a business program, right? An investment program whereby if you invest, I think it's around what, 800,000, they are going to give you a green card. I think it's about $800,000. They are going to give you a green card for you to be able to, run your business here in the US. So maybe, hopefully that helps. But we can talk more offline on that. Awini, please go ahead.
I think Doc has asked my question. I wanted to ask if you are an international student, whether you can also own a business.
Yes, I mean, there are way around it, so we can discuss all that later on. So yeah, that will be a subject for discussion, maybe in the course, or even if you want to call outside that, we can still talk about that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Dr. Adu.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello.
Hey, it's a Sosa. I have a cold, so excuse my voice. But two questions. One, what's the length of the program? Two, do you have any support after the program?
Great. So the program is 12 weeks. And yes, we do have support after the program. And anybody else on here before we move forward? So
Yeah,
we can hold.
Joe.
Okay, Joe, go. And so Joe will go, and then we are going to move forward through the modules real quick. And then we will take time to discuss.
I got a quick question. Would the cybersecurity business require any special license?
No.
So once you get your certification, you incorporate it, that's it?
Yes, that's it. You don't need any special license.
Suppose you want to go into education training, would you need any special license for that?
No, you don't need any special license. So training, you mean awareness training and the rest, right?
Let's say you set up a training just like Eretmis. I don't mean compete. Yes. Would you need a special license from Department of Education or whatever,
Yeah, so it depends on the states. So for some, and because you are not issuing the degree, if you are doing adult education and you just want to make it like the adult education version, there are some like registration that you can make and that, but really if you do it, it's nice. If you don't, I mean, there is really no obligation on those areas, right? Okay. Now, if you want to maybe teach certain things or you want to do certain things within the security space, then you will need it. So let's say maybe you want to do SOC 2 audits. Obviously, you need to qualify for that as a company to be able to do it, right? But aside that, just general practice, you don't really need a license.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Doc.
All right, so we are going to.
Can I go ahead? Just quick question before.
Okay, go ahead, Jason. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, I was trying to get my question in during Cyber News because it's related to that. So previously, in previous classes, you mentioned about the Grand Theft Auto leak, and now the verdict came out, and the 18-year-old boy, which was a part of Lapsus hacking group, they sentenced him to life in hospital prison with the only chance of getting out being the company would deem him not a threat anymore. So as long as they still deem him a threat, he will be in the jail still.
Wow.
Is that fair? Is that a proper punishment? And what are your thoughts on the matter?
Okay, so kindly remind me, we will get to that when we run through this real quick. We will get to that,
no
and then
problem.
everybody else can also share their opinion on that. Right. So what is going to be the curriculum for the CBOT? So first module, business introduction to cybersecurity business, going through the cybersecurity landscape, going through your vision, your mission as a company, business plan, your goals and objectives as a company. So we will discuss and go through all that. Now, to-do list, for each module, there's going to be a to-do list, right? So that is why I'm saying this is not just knowledge-based, but you're actually going to do. So one of the biggest things on this to-do list is to set up your LLCs, S-Corp, and all that. We are going to walk you through to do that. Come up with the vision, your mission statement, do some research, see cybersecurity trends. The trends will help you to look at which areas that can easily be your niche, right? So areas that you're going to be comfortable in, or areas that you already have some background coming into, that you can easily, steer the affairs of that niche within the cyberspace, right? So we are going to move on to module 2. So module 2, we are going to be looking at the business fundamentals. So your registration and everything will start from module 1, but setting up your bank account. Which banks are business friendly? Which banks are small to medium-sized business friendly, right? Which there are banks that will just, with your company today, no history, nothing, they'll give you a credit card for $10,000. Yeah, a couple of them like that. Which banks are those? How do you know? And some are even going to give you lines of credit. Aside the credit card, they're going to give you lines of credit, sometimes in the tunes of 100,000. They're about brand new business, right? So how do you identify those banks? How do you set up, and how do you go about getting those funds to help you to push your company forward, right? And drafting your operational plan and legal considerations, how to set up all the legal documentation that you need for you to be a full-blown company, your policies and everything. Also, we are going to discuss that and go through that as well. So EIN number, applying for all that. So all that we are going to do, right? You are going to go through that and do, and we are going to work in groups. So somebody already has a company, they've done the registration in their states. It is this way in your states. They can help you do that, and we guide everybody also through as well. So some people are coming in with some business experience already, others not so much. Same way, some people are coming in with some technical experience, others not so much. So we are going to, augment each other. Now, online presence and branding, right? Like I said last week, you just started your company. Don't go spending money on making any t-shirts or any hats. Nobody cares about it. Nobody knows it. You are just wasting your money. Right? Your focus should be on. Still, that doesn't mean you shouldn't focus on, presence and branding, right? So website, very important. If anybody wants to look you up, or people are searching online for a specific, cybersecurity service, they are going to Google, and within their area or within their metro area or within their shortest possible, distance, results are going to pop up. Just like how you can just Google Walmart near me, right? And the closest is going to show up. So if you are not online, then nobody's going to find you. Your social media strategy. You started a business. You want to really put yourself out there that your company provide these services and you are subject matter experts within those services. What can you do without actually advertising or paying social media to advertise for you? You can put out good content, on social media. An example of what we do for Eretmis Academy, right? So we are doing cyber chats regardless. We are going to do cyber chats and teach for free, show you the way, answer questions. But then what are we going to do with the video after that? It's a live session, people came in. We can also put it online for other folks to also benefit from, right? They've been folks, I've had a couple of calls about people who got jobs just watching all those videos on YouTube. So third-party risk management, incident response, CIS controls, name it, MITRE and attack. People actually use that to go to interviews and they got jobs out of it. They didn't even pay anything or come to school or anything. The intent is to help them that way, right? And two, we are putting Eretmis Academy out there as subject matter expert when it comes to cybersecurity training. So that is a strategy, right? Now, content creation for digital platforms and all that, building websites, developing social media strategy, we are going to work through all that. And we are actually going to do, right? So if you don't know how to create a website, you are not technical, it's not technical, we walk you through and just a few clicks, you have a website ready to go. Now, even with AI, it's even worse. Probably maybe, some seconds or minutes, you'll be ready to go, right? Government registration and compliance. So the government is one of the biggest buyers or the biggest buyer in the United States. So as a company, you are doing yourself a disservice if you're not on the government's list as a service provider, right? So dance, we are going to do a dance number. Dance is not really from the government. It's an institution that kind of serves as the credit bureau, just like how we have Expedia and the rest. The business version is dance, kind of, right? So you have a dance number, register with sam.gov. That is the business space for the government. Any company that is doing business with the government, you have to register here, and all of this is free, right? We walk you through how to do all that and preparing for government audits. These will come later on, way down the line. So we're actually going to walk you through and do. So to-do list, we are going to go through it and do that as well. So business certifications and exclusivities. So what we are talking about, business certifications like small business owned, veteran owned, and the rest, we are going to discuss and walk you through all those as well, right? And then also some other business certifications that are not within that space that you can also get as a cybersecurity company that will help you to really be competitive, right? So there are some little things that you can do and little qualifications that you can get for your company that will make you very competitive, right? We'll walk you through all that as well. And we are also going to do actually the to-do list. We'll go through all that as well. Now, financial management, big piece, right? After everything that you know and everything that you can do as a security company, if your finances are bad, then even the government wouldn't want to work with you. So financial planning, how you are going to run your budget, your how to run the whole entire financial aspect of your business, we are going to look at, and funding, all of that. Also, when it comes to taxes, how to go about it, employing people, what are you going to do? 1099, or they're going to be full-blown employees with benefits, all that we are going to discuss. And if you would love to have, investors come help you with your company, also how to go about, coming up with a plan, a good business plan that is going to catch the attention of investors. And where are these investors, anyways? Where can we find them? How can we talk to them? We are going to walk you through all that. Market analysis and strategy. So your market, which niche are we going to target? What is going on within the cyber market, like the cybersecurity space? What are they buying in terms of services, in terms of software? What are they buying, and how can we position ourselves well in there as well? Establishing authority in the cybersecurity space is what we just discussed about your social media strategy, building credibility, effective communication, thought leadership. So you have to be able to brand your company to be seen in that way, and we walk you through all that. It's really there are some steps and some things you are going to do, but it's not something that anybody on here cannot do. And then sales and client relationship, most important. If you have a business and you don't have a customer or you don't have a client, you are not a business. So you can register 100 LLCs. It's not a business. Until you have your first client, you're not a business. You are just an entity that is sitting there waiting to be a business. So sales, how do you go about, getting your first client, first gig, and maintaining your clients and maintaining that good client relationship? Very important. And I think probably the most important than all of everything that we are going to be looking at. And that is where, most people have that gap. So you have your company, everything, the paperwork, everything is straight. Now the gap is, how do I get the first person, or the first company to really, give me that opportunity to work for them to see. We will walk through all that as well. Now, cybersecurity technical skills. So what tools, what technologies do you need as a company, depending on which niche you want to go into, managing risk threats, and within your company, what is your cybersecurity setup? You're a cybersecurity company. So guess, mostly cybersecurity companies, sometimes they are even worse when it comes to security, right? Because they are helping others with security and they think they are immune, right? They know everything. So even if they don't do it, it's fine. But it doesn't work that way. So you have to show that you have good security posture yourself to be able to push yourself out there, right? So the technical side of cybersecurity, if you are a bit technical or if you know cybersecurity, is a plus. If you don't, you have to polish up yourself a little bit on some of it, because when you are employing people, you are not necessarily, if you are not necessarily doing the one doing the job, you are still going to employ people, right? You have to sit in one of those interviews, even if you have people who are still going to interview them. So you should be able to at least understand what is going on a little bit, or you can totally outsource all of that to somebody or a company that you think knows what they are doing. But you still have to be able to know some cybersecurity lingo to be able to, that way people cannot BS you, frankly. Team building and management, very key. How to set up a team, how to pick up the right team development and all that. So your sales team, your security technical team, everybody else that you're going to be working with. Now, when you are starting off, you don't need 10, 5, 8 people on your team, right? Unless, of course, you have some investor who just gave you maybe probably like $1 million, and you don't know what to do with it, right? But depends on which area you are targeting and which niche will inform how many people you need to start with, or if you have to start by yourself and then gradually build a team. Right? So if you are starting as a team of 1, you still have to be able to manage yourself well and everything else that you do. Right? So we're also going to actually walk you through some case studies and some scenarios. Now, conclusion, we are going to conclude and your business will be ready to take off. Right. So it will be like a plane on the runway, at that point where you just have to pull back and the plane will start climbing, right? That is where your company is going to be by the time we are done. And everything on here, you'll be ready to go, ready to launch, and probably even have your first paid or unpaid customer. So regardless, a customer is a customer. If you are starting off and you have at least maybe even 2 unpaid customers, you're not working for free. You're not working for free. You're actually building a relationship that is going to pay off in the future. Right. So for the training, starting on 18th January 2024, it's going to be a live Zoom session that we're going to have on Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern to 8:30 p.m. Cost $6,000, but 50% off until the 1st. So that way we are affording you half the price, and after the 1st, everything is going to just roll back to normal, right? And then also we have the 35% going on for all other courses as well, right? Now we are going to move into questions, but like I was saying previously, our cybersecurity, our PCI class is starting on the 16th. Our internship is starting on the 13th. Now, next year, we are going to start a PCI internship training as well. The dates will be put out. We are yet to put out the date, but it's going to be in January. We are going to start in January, sometime January, right? So, but our normal internships like workshop, where we go through audits, identity, risk management, risk registers, and the rest, we do a lot of fun stuff, incident response. This is where all the fun is at. Right? PCI is also where the fun is at, depending on where you sit in security. Now we are going to move for payment options. We have different payment options on the website. So please take a look at it. For the 35% off, you can pay through a firm, and then you are going to pay them instrumentally. Aside that, for instrumental payments, the 35 goes directly to only one-time payments, right? So this is the end of the launch. I appreciate everybody's time and time that they spent with us. Hopefully, we also learned something new with the cyber news, talking about zero-day vulnerabilities and the rest. And then also for the program, the new program that we are doing, the cybersecurity business owner. Now you know exactly what is going to go, like what is in it and how it is going to help you. Even if you are not starting, once we are done, you are ready to move on, or like start everything. But even if you want to put it down, at least you went through and built all the structures, so you know that whenever you are ready, you can just take over. So now we are going to go into the questions session, and we will go through the chats. But then for folks, I think some folks had their hand up. We are going to give them the floor to, ask their questions. So please go ahead if you have any questions.
Hello, Doc.
Yes.
I have two questions.
Go ahead.
My first question is about sustainability, and the second is about business development.
Okay.
So in terms of sustainability, statistics have it, especially from the Better Business Bureau, that many businesses die a premature death, especially in their first few months of operation.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to know what is the value proposition of the Seaboard program, or how is the Seaboard program designed to accompany an enthusiast or a newbie during the training, and especially after the training. So that's the first question. My second question is about business development.
Mm-hmm.
Many of us on this platform, myself being the first, are African and would like to have some form of a business engagement, especially in the near or sometime in the far future with the continent, especially given that there's a lot of positive development going on in the continent, and the markets are opening and are becoming more friendly to us, especially those who were wishing to go back and investing in the company somehow. So given it's the unexploited market of the continent, how is the Seaboard program designed to assist us in this particular market penetration?
Okay, great question, Divine from Boston. So the first question that you asked, statistically, most businesses, that's like most startup businesses, like businesses that will start within, I'm not really sure about like the statistics, but majority of them don't survive. And they don't survive because they don't have the right guidance and also what we call the activity knowledge, right? So that is the main reason why we have this program, to hold your hand and guide you through the whole entire process, right? So, and then also as we are doing so, we are letting you go learn. So you are not going to right as you are starting off, you are just going to borrow 150,000. What are you really going to use it for? You are going to walk us through. So what is this really needed for? Right? To buy, t-shirts and hats, and no, it's not. So you are going to go, most reason why they will go, like these companies will die prematurely, is because one, we call something activity knowledge. If you don't know what you are doing, then obviously you are going to end up in the middle of nowhere, right? It's like you are sailing, but you are hoping and wishing you get to your destination, but you really don't know how to operate the compass and use the wind to your advantage to get to your location. Probably going to end up somewhere you don't want, or if you are lucky, maybe you get close to your destination. So that is the reason why we are doing this, to give you the activity knowledge, to give you the skill sets, the knowledge for you to be able to thrive and to be successful. And then also we are there to guide you through the whole entire time. Now, when it comes to exploiting other areas like the African continent for business-wise in terms of cybersecurity, is it's really not a different ball game, but it's a different ball game because they run things differently there. But at least you know your cybersecurity business. So moving in there to, depending on which country that you want to go into, just having an entity, a legal entity there, like how you are going to register one here in the States, right? And then for on the continent, cybersecurity is still, if cybersecurity was a kid, probably still in the infancy, right? So there's a lot of opportunities there, especially with the governments, with government agencies, right? So it's just a matter of having a really good, proposal and pitching it to the right people. You should be able to. And also, if for you, it's going to be a plus, if you have an established cybersecurity company in the States and you are going down, you have a reference point. Hey, this is my company. This is our sister company in, your country is this, and we can do ABC. So at least that carries some weight, right? So unlike somebody who is just there, who is setting up their, company right there with no affiliate or any sister company outside the country, yours, they might probably receive you in a more favorable way. So it's a plus to you regardless. But then still, like I said, they do business somewhat differently. So it depends on how you want to go about it. But on face value, you are set to be able to go do anything there. You have to first look at what is needed and how best you'll be able to help, right? At the back of your mind, as a business owner, your first goal is to serve, right? Your first goal is to serve. How can I help my client do A, B, C to solve this problem? If you are solving enough problems and helping enough, you're also going to get what you want, or you're going to be rewarded, right? So always you have to find what is needed and provide that solution. Hopefully that helps, Divine.
Thank you.
Yes. Please, if you have your hands up, I think I lowered, I'm not sure if I lowered everybody, but I'm just going to do this that way. It's easy for me to see who's understanding. So please raise your hand if you have a question. Raise your virtual hand. Randy, please go ahead.
I know you said you answered the question earlier that you will provide support after the class. And I know that you're a QSA. Do you offer any partnership to partner with your company? You doing the QSA work, and I'm like I'll find a job and then you would carry out the work. Do you have such a partnership?
Yeah, we do, frankly. We do. And we've done like a couple with some of our students / partners, right? Yes, we do. Felix, please go ahead.
Oh, okay. So as a new business, so looking to land your first contract, some questions might arise, like questions like about your company reputation, your work history, So if such issues arise, how do you handle them?
So those are strategies that we are going to teach in there. Right. So there are ways around it. One, so that is like part of the strategy is to create yourself as an authority. Aside just creating yourself as an authority, right? I think I mentioned this last week. Your experience doesn't have to be paid experience. So if in your local, maybe like your son's school, right? You can go there, talk to them. They need something cybersecurity. Maybe they have somebody else you can add to what they have. That counts as, that can be your reference point. Oh, I did this for this school. I did that for this school. If you do that for, let's say you do awareness training for 5 schools, the 6th school is probably going to pay you for it. Now you have a track record. Oh, I did it for that school, that school, that school. You can check. Oh yeah, his training was, plus in today's day and age, you can even have it on video if you're doing it in person. Even on Zoom, you can still have like the recording and send it. Right. So if it's not that, but you are helping them with something else, maybe you're a good penetration tester, they allow you to do pen testing for them. or your company to do pen testing for them, that is going to be your point of reference. So this is just the tip of the iceberg for everybody. But in the course, we are going to go deep in different, avenues and ways of going around it, because that is always, nobody wants to be treated by the guy who just finished medical school and finished housemanship, fresh doctor from nowhere. But if he's been doing some work and he's been seeing more people, it's going to show in his delivery, right? So that is what you want to do. You have to prepare yourself, and how to prepare yourself, there are ways around it. So you're not going to look like a newbie in terms of a newbie company. Frank, go ahead. And then Jason and Suzanne.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. Good evening. My name is Frank from Lagos, Nigeria. I was in your very first internship class, 2021. Thank you for the opportunity you gave me to have the training. I developed an AI application for training institution like yours that I believe will add value to this training and this workshop. I sent you information on WhatsApp a couple of days ago. I know you're very busy. I appreciate if you have time so that I can give you more details. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, I'll have you talk to Michael. So just send a reminder. I'll have you talk to Michael, and you can walk Michael through. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, Frank. Jason, please go ahead.
Doc, thank you. And going back to the question, so GTA 6, very popular game, and it was threatened to be leaked. It was leaked, and the source code, which means the entirety of the game, was threatened to be released. The company acted quickly. They found the group, which was Lapsus Hacking Group. The 18-year-old, which was the mastermind mastermind of the action, was found and sentenced to life imprisonment. It was a hospital prison, not really a major prison, but life. And the only way that he is going to be released is if the company deems at some point in the future that he is no longer a threat.
Okay.
Question one. Do you think that this was a proper move? Is this the example that we want to set? Is it too severe? I'd like to hear your thoughts now.
Okay, so for severity, I'm not sure if I will say it's too severe, right? First off, you don't have to be doing anything crazy on those lines. For life sentence, what jurisdiction was that? If you remind me, like what state was it?
Let me see. It was posted. The only thing it's saying is the name. I think it's America.
Okay. So they can only give him life if the law allows it for maximum sentence, right? So when it comes to the law and how much is going to give you in terms of what you did, that will be determined by the judge to give you either, and that is also kind of determined by your own attitude in court and all that. So a lot of moving pieces. Now I think if there is a caveat that if the company deems him not as a threat, then he's good. You should just go, whatever he has to do for the company to see him not to be a threat is what he has to focus on, frankly. So if they say you are no more a threat, then they take the sentence. I think
Dr. Adu, it's a British judge, so I think it's not the US, it's
okay.
UK.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Okay.
I wasn't seeing it in the article, so thank you for that update.
Okay, thank you. So that would be my take, frankly. Just go beg the company, tell them you'll be of good behavior. You are going to work for them for free or do something for them, and probably maybe they'll let you off the hook, right? And aside that, when it comes to how much a judge is going to give you for what crime, well, that is really out of my pay grade, frankly. So hopefully that helps, Jason. And I think it's a good deterrent for anybody who might want to try that. So.
Yes. Yeah.
Doc, can I give a contribution there?
Yes, go ahead.
If I were the company, one of the things I would do is to employ the guy.
Exactly.
We have had a similar situation in Cameroon where it's a guy in one of the regions who was able to hack the MTN, the telecom system, and was providing free internet to a lot of people. So what did MTN do when the guy was caught? MTN gave him a job, and his job was to prevent that same attack. It is true that there must be some form of deterrent for to stop that kind of behavior in the future. However, I think that I will, as the company management, or if I were the company owner, I will put that behind and I will look at the greater good, because this guy truly has a talent, although he has brought about his talent from the wrong way.
Yes.
But I will put all those things aside and I'll tap in that talent and ensure that I use that talent to prevent future attacks. So that was my contribution.
Okay. But isn't that encouraging bad behavior?
No, that is protecting future instances from happening. So what I think Dr. Adu is alluding to, and the caveat of the rule that they said, as long as the company deems him not a threat, they're going to put him to work. This is normally done in most cases. Google, Microsoft, Windows, banks. Whenever people hack their systems, they hire them immediately to prevent that thing from happening. Especially, there was, I think, about a couple decades ago, where a kid in the Europe took $1 from a bank account in a certain very large bank. So millions of people only lost $1. And they made sure that they hired that kid as soon as he turned 18.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I believe this issue has to do with each and every state. Because when it comes to if it starts to be a criminal offense and it's against the state, the law has to take its course. Even if the company wants to go around it, they need to be diplomatic in going around it. So long as it's against the state, the law will take its course, irrespective of how good or how genius the person may be.
Yes, that is true. However, the law is rigid, which is why we have judges and we don't always follow the exact letter of the law. Humans are humans. There are always circumstances and context is key in many instances, which is why everybody who commits a murder or a crime or whatever does not get the same punishment based on the context. So with the context here, the company who is the victim sees the potential and can work to the law, say, okay, we can give him this or her this punishment now based on the actions and turn this bad situation into something good.
Okay. So great insights and great input from everybody. Thank you, Jason. So we are going to move into other questions. Susanna, if you have a question, you can go ahead.
Hello?
Okay, go ahead. You're able to unmute yourself now. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. I was having a little issue with my phone. So, I'm a business owner, and initially I didn't have any idea. So somebody actually helped me to register the business. But then the person's name appears on when you run a check on my business, their name is there. So my question is, do I have to change it to my name solely? And is there a way of changing it?
Yes, I mean, you have to, if their name is showing up, then it means that the business belongs to
Yeah,
them.
their name shows up.
So the business belongs to them, right? Because they use their name to register for it. Now, if your business
both of our names are there.
Both of your names are there. Okay, then you guys are partners.
Yeah.
So So he or she
that
owns
I'm not
part and
aware
you own part. Yeah, so
Yeah.
like that shouldn't be the case. You have to take the person off, because now it might seem not problematic, but when your business becomes
Yeah.
$1 million, multi-million company, then you'll be
Mhm.
coming, or she'll be coming for her share. And there is
Okay.
no
So
going
is there a way of doing that?
he or she is part of the business. So he owns half or she owns half. Yes, you can go back and change the ownership to 100% you.
Okay. Okay. All right. I just wanted to be sure of that.
Yes. Please go ahead, Aaron. Adrian, sorry.
Thank you, Doc. Good morning. Greetings from Kenya, and Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year.
Yeah, mine is just a
Merry
comment
Christmas.
because mine is just a comment because my feeling is when I was listening to Thomas' question about whether to abandon work and fit in this program, my feeling, and I'd like you to comment on that in case I'm missing something. My feeling is that if you are in employment, this CBOT program is going to be extremely good for you because you become one of the employees who are thinking top down, because you're thinking more like an owner. You begin to see things from the vision, as opposed to thinking from bottom up, where you're busy working, almost don't see what the organization is doing, what it's struggling with. So if you are working for me and you seem to know what I should be doing as the owner, for me, I think you attract my attention. You should be the person I should be promoting next. That's the feeling I get from my understanding of this program. And then I think I wanted to hear more about partnerships, because I am a business owner and I am weak as a business. I need strong partnerships from all over the place. I have my strengths, yes, but my strong bolt without a nut don't really do much. And when Divin was talking about coming out back to Africa to set up and going here to set up, I think Eretmis family is big, it's huge. You are all over the place. Thanks to Dr. Adu and the effort that you're making. I think we just need to be able to work together. Where are you? What can you do? Where am I? What can I do? What can we do together as a family? And then we should be able to achieve a lot more, so that there is something I know here, there's something you can do from there. Together, we should be able to provide the service here. And you will be cushioned from the differences, the heterogeneity of the environment and the difference in the regulations and stuff like that, and vice versa. So that's what I was thinking, but I'd like Dr. Adu to comment on my first comment, because I really strongly believe that this is a very, very good program. I would personally benefit greatly, because we start off and we struggle. Sometimes we die off. My company is almost 14 years, but I've been busy doing many other things, and I've not given up on it. And I think this is a good program. I'd like Dr. Adu to comment on what I think about what Ifeoma's question was. Thank you.
Okay, so yes, for the partnership, yes, we have. So for this program, whoever, like, if you come through, once we're done, we are going to partner with you on either contracts that you are doing, or if you need help with anything. Right now, in general, even outside this program, if you still need help with any partnering, I mean, we are there to help, frankly. So do not hesitate to reach out. We've had instances where some students who are doing business, and still doing cybersecurity, they will reach out and we will go through and help them with anything that they need help with, right? And if we have to partner, yes, most definitely. But it has to be something that will be that will help all of us to grow, professionally and as a business, right? So sometimes we pick and choose what we are going to pursue because we'll have limited time and resources. So if you come to us with a proposal or let us know what is going on, we will look at it. And if it's something that we have to do, we will do with you. But if we have to just advise you for you to go do on your own, we will give you all that guidance that you need. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, it does. Thanks.
Okay. And Adinka, please go ahead and ask your question.
You didn't comment on Ifemi's question.
Oh, like which one? Working as a security professional and doing this, like looking at the business aspect of it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So like the example that I gave, right, with if you are working as a cook and you have in your sights to be a restaurant owner, right? You have a different perspective when you are working there than somebody who all that they are thinking about is, I'm a professional cook. All that I'm doing is doing my job and going home, right? Though, like such a person is not paying attention to the business aspect of the whole cooking industry or like the restaurant business. But if you have that mindset that, okay, I've gone through classes, I know how I've set up my business, I have everything set up. Maybe I'm just waiting to get some funds to get my own restaurant and stuff. It's not getting the restaurant, but how to run it. So if you are there, you are doing your job as a cook, but you're also paying attention to the business of what is going on, right? And that is the most important. And you are likely to be in that place if your intent is to have your own, right? So like the best way, that is where you learn more activity knowledge. So activity knowledge, the actual doing of it, you are paying attention and you are seeing it being done in real time. So hopefully that adds to what you're talking about, Adrian.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yes, please go ahead, Abayomi, and we will be wrapping up and we will announce our winners here shortly.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you for the time. Whoa.
Oh, I think, okay, Abayomi, please hold one. I think Adeyinka wants to go first. So, Adeyinka, go ahead.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for the time, and thanks, everyone. I actually need your comment on few things, because the way it's looking like at this point is that this program is actually meant for me. When I moved back to the US like 2 years ago, I have a background in telecom, site, base station build, and stuff like that. But I was introduced into cloud. So I registered a consulting firm, which was basically for cloud and project management. But when I think about the way the world is transforming, especially in this VUCA period that we are, I see that the world is transforming into cloud. And there's one thing that is persistent, the way we're moving into cloud, is security. So if you can see, I chat you once in a while, I ask some questions and stuff like that. I kept wondering, I feel like security goes with this new transformation that the world is doing. So I'm looking at setting up, actually when I registered that company, I made sure it was an IT firm. I made sure it was a consulting firm. Like I told you, I'm new into IT, zero IT knowledge, but I have this strong belief that the world is actually moving this direction, and it's just the right thing to do to move in that direction. So my question is this. My plan is to have cloud security services. When I say cloud, I mean the whole cyberspace, regardless of what part of it we're talking about. But I'm looking at going into cybersecurity and cloud. With my background as a project manager, I'm looking at getting projects on both cybersecurity and cloud. But the question is this. I would like to add that cybersecurity to what I've already registered. Is that a possibility? Which I think is a yes. Then the second thing is this. Like I used to ask you over time, when we say security, cybersecurity, are there not any requirement? Like I know that in construction, they will tell you to get a current certification, stuff like that. But when it comes to you saying that it's possible for a zero experienced person in IT to set up a cybersecurity firm and run it, because I understand what your empathy is. Your empathy is actually on running a cybersecurity business, which is what I actually need, even though I have previous business organizational experience how to do that. But I'm just want to know if it's a due thing for me with an zero IT experience to join in this race of setting up cybersecurity.
Okay, so what I got from your question is it possible for you to set up a cybersecurity company with no IT experience?
Yes.
Yes, it's possible.
Okay.
Yeah, and you don't. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening. I was trying to.
Yeah, and like for certifications, like you're talking about, in cybersecurity, it depends on what you want to do. So for us, we're a QSA company, so we need to get certified by PCI, right? If you are not doing that and we're just doing pen testing, we don't need to get certified by anybody.
So if it's just a general cybersecurity services that I want to be offering, I don't require any particular.
No, you don't.
Okay, I really wish to join. I really wish to be part of this. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right. Now, I think about Yomi, please go ahead.
Mine's going to be quick. I hope it's a yes or no. You can just respond to it, yes or no.
Yeah, go ahead.
The PCI internship class, which is coming up. I'm currently in your internship class. But I remember we had a conversation. You said once that starts, then you just automatically. Will I just be automatically added to the class? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, great. That's it.
Okay. Divine, Divine, go ahead, and then no, wait, Divine, I'll have IJ go first because Divine has had asked a couple of questions already. So IJ, please go, and then we will wrap it up.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Adu. Well, two things I want to, actually three. Thank you for all you do. And then my first question is, I will share light on the lady that spoke earlier that somebody registered and is showing up as owner. It depends on the, based on experiences, it depends on the state where the company is registered. You can call the Secretary of State of that state and maybe do an amendment, which you can change either your directors or other form of amendments and pay some fee. That's just on that. And also on the person that spoke last regarding if you need certifications, would it not be just like if you are hiring a pen tester, for instance, and you don't have a pen testing experience as a company owner, but the person that you're sending for the job, wouldn't that person, when you are hiring, to hire people who have that experience that you don't have? That is, what I'm trying to find out, that might be better. Then my question is, if you're having a group, do you have a group, if a partner, two people wants to do the training, want to have knowledge of this at the same time, do you have a group discount for them? And then, yeah, I think so. And then can a non-profit be set up for cybersecurity training? That's two questions and two comments.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Adu.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, so non-profit can still do cybersecurity. So the only difference between non-profit and for-profit is for non-profit, their goal is not to make a profit, right? So money that is coming in is used for business expenses, and that's it, right? But then also on the legal side, there are some, legal implications when it comes to non-profit. If you have to go for a loan, there are more things that you have to show for, and they have to make sure, like the government agency has to be in charge of that, has to make sure that like the funds are not misappropriated. So for non-profit, yes, you can still do cybersecurity, either training or whichever area of cybersecurity that you want to go into. And then also for the so you're talking about like discount if you have like two people coming in and you want to do it together as a group. Yeah, we can talk offline about that and probably come up with something. on those lines. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so I think like that was it. So Divine, I'm still going to put you on hold. I'll go with Romeo, and then Tox Kazim can go. So Romeo, please go, and then Kazim, if hopefully I didn't murder your name. Go ahead, Romeo.
Thank you, Dr. Adu. My question centers around the module that you just went through, and it seems to be centered around doing business with the government, precisely the federal government, right? Are there going to be instances where there'll be lessons that centers around doing business with the private businesses, as well as state and local governments, and how to navigate those terrains? Thank you.
Yes. So that area, we put like the government on there. That doesn't mean it's just going to be like the government area aspect that we are looking at, right? So if you're a business, obviously you want to open your nets wide to be able to go either way. So we are going to talk about B2B, so business to business, and even business to customer. So all that we are going to discuss and look at like strategies as well, those areas. But great question. It's not only going to be on the government side. Hazen, please go ahead.
Yes, good evening, doctor. I just want to ask if I do want to run my own consulting someday. Do I need to have a PCIP or QSA to start running my own business?
Okay, so I'm assuming you are talking about run a PCI consulting firm?
Yes.
No, you don't need to be a QSA or PCIP.
Oh, okay.
Now, caveat to that is you cannot do assessments, but you can help organizations prep, themselves for assessments and help them to stay in compliance all year long. But you cannot do an assessment. That is the only thing you cannot do. And you can help them with other services, such as, finding an ASV company for them, finding a QSA company for them, finding a pen testing company for them. All those can be services that you can. So let's say you have the contract, you can reach out, hey, Eretmis, how much are you going to charge me if you do an assessment for these people? If you do your initial assessment, let me know your price, and then you can, negotiate. It's all business. But for you, maybe like you are in charge of their whole entire program, so you are running the whole program for them. You don't necessarily have to be a QSA company, but you have to know what you're doing.
All right, thank you, doctor.
Yes, you're welcome. And I think Divine, please go ahead. Now is Divine's turn.
Thank you, Doc. 2 quick questions. These ones will be short. The first one is about networking, which is very important especially for new businesses. So I just want to know in the Seaboard Entrepreneurship Package that is being offered by Eretmis, are there any networking opportunities so that students can connect with actual businesses in the cybersecurity space, and why not potential people from whom we can get we can get gigs for a start? And the second question is, there was a program I think a year or 2 ago, where Eretmis will train students on how to get PCI gigs and then bring them back for partnership and work something out. So for a long time, I haven't heard about that program. I think if I'm not wrong, you probably promised restarting it or something. I just want to know what is the status of that. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, the PCI partnership program, we put it on hold because we're super busy. right, throughout the year. So we'll still bring it back next year, hopefully. And for the networking, yes, for that, we're also going to discuss and show you the strategies. But one free giveaway from that is you have to attend a lot of events. So let's just say in your state, there are a lot of like these government agencies. If we are just looking at government agencies, there are a lot of events that they organize, right? Where most of the agencies will, showcase what they need and all that. Now on the corporate side, there are similar events, right? And then also for cybersecurity conferences, and you have to be just, there at every single one of them. So just be there, network with people, network with other cybersecurity companies, right? Because somebody might be struggling with something that they don't want to do, right? And I think last week there was one student who said that he has a cyber pen testing. He can do pen. His company can do pen testing. I told him to reach out, but still didn't hear from him. But things like that. If we try you out and you can actually do it, then we have clients that we can push you to. Right? So networking, just attending most of the cybersecurity events. Frankly, you'll be able to network and meet some of the big players. An example is like the PCI conference that I spoke at, in Portland. Almost everybody who is anybody as a merchant or service provider company was there. And then also almost everybody who is anybody in terms of QSA companies were also there. So those are, and they had, so like they do more partying, not really more partying than the actual conference, but the first day there is like a huge party, right? We don't even do that much. It's like 2 hours of the conference, and then it's just party, people drinking beer and chit-chatting, and that is the networking piece, right? And every day they had that, right after the whole entire day program. So that is where you meet and you network with people. So that is one free giveaway. So if you're on here, even if you don't want to set up a business, but you still want to network within the cyberspace, that way when you do need a job or you want to switch jobs, it's very easy just to make 2-3 phone calls, and you are going to be there, attend programs, conferences and webinars and seminars like that. So hopefully that answers all your questions, Divine. And I think there is a last question in here by Oluwafemi.
Yes, doctor.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick question. So I decided to go to the PCI website right now, and I see what the requirement for the PCI Q. What is
QSA?
it? QSA. Thank you. So, like, is it is there any way? Is there any option for just maybe do a certification? Is it a certification or what? I mean, I don't know. How does it work? Maybe I see registration and training, whatever. If I don't want to do the training, I just want to do the certification or something like that.
For QSA, you have to be a QSA company first.
Yeah. Okay.
It has to be a QSA company who is taking you to the QSA to get qualified as a QSA. So on their website, you see the QSA training, but if you click on it, you wouldn't be able to register for it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So that means, okay, my company is an IT consulting firm. That's based on registration. So I can't say it's a QSA. I'm just asking randomly.
No. So your company has to apply and get qualified as a QSA company with PCI first.
Okay.
Before they can qualify anybody on that company to be a QSA.
Okay. So, but is there any exam to sit for that? That's the basic.
No, for the company. I mean, obviously, your company cannot write an exam, right?
Okay.
So for the company, they are looking at your work experience.
Okay.
And then after that, if you meet that, then you pay the registration.
Oh.
After registration, you have to prove insurance. So normal insurance, and then they have third party and first party and third party bond, fidelity bond insurance. That is like 10 or 15 grand.
On their website, doctor, I see something like $3,000 for.
No, that is for once your company has qualified everything that I talked about. For the individuals who are going to go to the training, that is what is the $3,000.
Oh, okay. So let's say my company now gets qualified. So for me to go for the training, I have to pay 3,000.
But for your company to get qualified, you have to pay like 40 grand.
Say that again, please. Say that again, please.
For your company to get qualified, I think now the registration for you to meet, if you meet all the requirements, registration, I think is almost about 40,000.
$40,000?
Yes. And then that you have to pay, I think you have to renew registration every year too. And you have to also, for insurance, for fidelity bond and whatever insurance that you have to meet, that is also like 16 grand or 17 grand, depending on how many people you have staff.
No. Doctor, I'm sorry. Let me pause a little bit. I want to ask the question again. So the question is like, so let's say I looked at the qualifications, like I think I'm qualified based on the list, but the money aspect of it is, so you're telling me that, so my company has to pay like 40 grand just to be a...
So what I'm telling you is not on their website, but that is what your company will have to go through and pay to get qualified as a QSA company before you go pay that $3,000.
Wow.
Well, the $3,000 is just for the individual people that you are sending to the training and the exam.
Wow. Thank you.
Yes. So everything that I'm telling you is not on the website. So you wouldn't see that. So it's not like I'm just going to pay $3K and then that's it. I'm a QSA company.
Okay.
All right. So hopefully that is some insights for PCI, but all that you didn't see on the website. So, all right. So we are wrapping up now for our winners. I think there are some questions. If your question was in here in the chat and we didn't address it, please, you can raise your virtual hand and bring it up. Either than that, we are going to announce our winners and we will say Merry Christmas to everybody. So for our winners, we're actually going to choose 4, but we ended up with 6. So we are going to list that 6. And if we do have Cyber Chat next week, we are also going to add 4 more, right? So it's going to be 10 in total. So we far exceeded our 20 grand. So I probably have to talk to some people, right? So for our winners for tonight, we have, so I was saying 1 will be for showing up first, right? So first person to show up tonight was Lord Alote, if I got your name right, Lord Alote. So Lord Alote is a winner. And for the winners, we are just going to randomly assign 3 people are going to win the business training, and then some are going to win internship, some are going to win PCI internship, and then we are probably going to have 1 person for PCI specialist. So, and for next week, we are going to have some entry level and then maybe some internship also as well. And 1 business also as well for next week if we do have Cyber Chat. So for Alote is our first winner. And then now the rest, we are just going to go through. Second winner, Malachi. And so for all winners, please shoot an email to David at Eretmis that you are a winner, and then your like the course that you were awarded will be sent to you, right? So next, so that is 2. Next one is Uchi. Uchi, let me, so UCHE.
Uche.
Uche. Okay, so I think I wrote it wrong. Uche. So Uche, please also shoot an email to everybody, to David at Eretmis. So now we have 3, right? 3. Next one is Felix. That makes it 4. And then we have Abayomi. So Abayomi is number 5. So we have, okay, Alote, Malachi, Felix, Uche, Abayomi. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then the last one is going to be Sydney. So Sydney is the last one. So that makes it 6. So we have 6 lucky winners. Next week, we are going to select 4. And obviously, all the time, somebody who shows up first, just showing up first, is going to win. There was, I think, for our last two awards that we gave for scholarship, somebody was complaining about, oh, but I'm not technical, I don't know any cybersecurity anything. And the folks that were giving the award, they were answering technical cybersecurity questions. And but for that, I think for October, if we awarded 10 scholarships, almost 7 of it was for people who just showed up early. Right? They just showed up early. They didn't answer anything. 3 was based on technicality, when we are going back and forth, and I think we had some folks judge who the winners were for answering questions, right? So we try to be fair, we try to pick at random, and based on questions you answer, or if you just showing up. So for whoever, I don't remember who the person's name was, but if he showed up, probably he was saying that because he didn't win. But if you just showed up earlier than anybody else, you could have won. So Van Alote showed up earlier than anybody else. The rest were based on questions that were answered and some other metrics that we used. But all these were people who won on here. They know we selected it purely at random, right? And based on the criteria that we were using. So next week, it might probably be for maybe people who just shows up early, or 3 or 4 who showed up early. Or we might probably spice it up or change it or do something. And whose birthday is today? Anybody on here whose birthday is today? If your birthday is today, if you claim your birthday is today, you have to prove it. Anybody?
Mine.
If it is your birthday.
No, I really just want a scholarship.
Okay, so if it's your birthday, then we're going to give you a scholarship, but then you have to, for that one, you have to come and prove it.
Dr. I have a birthday in December. Okay, so
okay.
Does that count?
Okay, so maybe next week, God willing, if we do meet, then you can re-engineer your birthday and push it to 29th.
Oh my gosh, no.
All right, everybody. Merry Christmas to everybody. We are wrapping up for tonight. And I appreciate everybody for the whole entire year. You've been supporting the group. And we really do appreciate you. And we wish you all the best, you and your family. And a very Merry Christmas to everybody. And hopefully, God willing, we will communicate if we are going to meet next week on the 29th for the New Year edition. But this was the Christmas edition. I appreciate everybody's hard work and all the support that you've been given, and the community that we are building. We are building an army of cybersecurity professionals, and you are one of the soldiers and one of the vibrant soldiers in this. So I appreciate everybody's time, and also for the link for the program.
One last question, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Don't leave yet. Do we get a scholarship for referring people? How about that?
So you get a commission for referring people.
Oh, that's it.
Yes, you get a commission for referring people. So and okay. So since you brought that up, for our affiliate link that we posted, we have like the list of all your commissions. So that will be pushed out. So if you have a list of people that you referred and you didn't use the link, you can also please send us an email with all the list. So I was the one who brought Malachi, brought this person, brought that person, and we will look at it and close our books. How much is the commission, Doc? Close our books and send it out to everybody. Say that again, please.
How much is the commission?
Oh, it depends on the course.
Ah, okay.
Is that a percentage or is just a fixed amount?
It's a percentage.
Alrighty.
Yes. So
Dr. Adu, thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you. God bless you.
You're welcome, Sydney.
Thank you. You won.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Have a great rest of the night.
I appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
And have a very Merry Christmas. Bye, everyone.
Merry Christmas.